If you're tired of the standard business and marketing fundamentals, frameworks, and funnels, you need a little mischief. Get ready to turn up the volume on the CEO Mischief Maker podcast, where you access conversations with seasoned business owners who have smashed through mindset barriers, innovated the standard boring business and marketing playbooks, and executed future-paced strategies with bleeding-edge tools and tactics to micro-fail their way into massive success and growth. We are Mindset Impact Strategic Catalysts helping innovative entrepreneurs focus. We are CEO Mischief Makers. Ready to make a little mischief? Hey, CEO Mischief Makers, MKJ here, and I get to introduce you to a new friend today because this is someone I've met through Mark Schaefer's Rise community. And I'm telling you, this is one of the most energized, forward-thinking, futurist communities I've ever been involved in. So I'm really excited to share with you my guest today. Just introduction, Joeri, Billast. Hello there. Welcome to the conversation.
Hello, MK. How are you?
I did it. I got your name.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Okay, everybody listening, you don't understand. His name is spelled very different, especially the Joeri is spelled very different from the way it sounds. So I'm really, really proud of myself that I was able to do that. But anyway, welcome to the conversation, sir. Tell me, for those who don't know you, tell us kind of who you are and what you do.
Yeah. By the way, happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation, MK. So yeah, we met in the Rise community. It's a marketers community. Obviously, I'm a marketer too. I have a background in B2B. Before I went into marketing, I had a business analytics company. So these things come a bit together in what I'm doing today. I went from social media marketing as my specialization, towards Web3 marketing. So today, I'm helping out Web3 companies with their marketing. And on the other side, also companies that are, still need to make the step towards Web3 to help them make the step. That's in a nutshell. Wow. And like you, I also have my podcast around Web3 marketing.
It's so exciting because when I love Web3, I love community-based Web3, which is one of the reasons I joined Rise when Mark introduced a Rise coin and it started going the direction of Web3. And really communities in this new wave, let's say, are not necessarily different. I mean, community is community. It's a gathering of humans, right? But it is so much more forward thinking and so much more open to possibilities. So let's start there. I mean, jumping from social media into Web3 makes sense to me, right? It's the progression of technology, so to speak. But let's talk about how. And before then, you're talking about analytics, right? So that's very different from social media. I mean, you can use analytics. Obviously, you want to verify what's happening in your marketing portfolio, if you will. But tell me about the mindset shift. You had to, first off, see and then accept in order to make that jump from analytics to social media to now Web3. Are there distinct situations that you can remember that made you think you need to switch or jump ship from one to the other?
Yeah, actually, I'm just looking around me and see what are the new technologies, the new trends that are happening. So back in the days, business analytics was really a hype, and this was something that was interesting to me. So I was really learning about it. I had economic studies, business engineer studies, but those were quite broad. And I have written at that time, and we call it a thesis in Belgium because I'm from Belgium. And that's a paper that you need to write. So I did the research around business analytics at that time already, some time ago. And then I started, as a consultant, first as an employee in a telco company. Then I went to a consulting company because I said I cannot be a consultant if I just, sort out of school because I don't know anything. And then I said, now is the time to start my own business in analytics because that made sense. I had all the knowledge and I had a competitive advantage, if you want. But then, by having this company and growing it, I realized that, I like to do analytics, I like to do strategy, I like to lead companies, but there are things that I'm less good at. And at a certain moment, I said, okay, I want to be a bit more creative. And what happened? Sometimes in life, things change at the same time. So actually, the mother of my children, at the moment that I met her, I was just starting my first company. And she said, "What can't I join your company?" I said, "Yeah, why not? There is nothing, I have nothing to lose, there's nothing to." But then, fast forward, and then we were like 9 years further, the company had grown and we had 13 people working for us, and she was still in the company. But, it's not always easy to have private life and professional life mixing. So I said, I need to do something else. And then I had an opportunity that came on my path. I looked at, should I do this? Should I not? I went into BNI, which is a networking club. And then at a certain moment, I still remember, it was mid-May, I said to myself, okay, we made a decision that we were going to separate. And I said, okay, I need a solution that the mother of my children, that there is a solution for the children, of course, co-parental parenthood, I think it's called in English. But also she needed to have a new job. She needed to have an apartment. And I wanted to sell my business and do something else. And I said, this needs to be done before the 1st of July, 6 weeks. I gave myself 6 weeks. It's like, this could never work. I said, let's do 6 weeks. And because I only had 6 weeks, my mindset was do things that you would not normally do. Okay, some things are logical. So I looked for I had up there to get a job through my network. We looked for apartments. We discussed for the children. Then there was one big client that I had, and we were having a discussion about, a big, let's say, client of both of us, because we were in a, we won a contract at the government, at the Ministry of Finance. So we were discussing, because I was leading everything, but they took all the risk because they were a big company and I was a small company. So I had a discussion and I said, you know what, why don't you buy half of my company? Then it's solved. And then they did that. And then I had the other half. And then, I was in Paris. And we were a partner of a French company called Talent. And they did, let's say, an event over there. And I saw that there was another consulting company asking questions to the speaker. And I said, this company could be another company that buys, the rest of my company. And I said, let's just go out of the comfort zone. Let's just go to this guy. And I was, perhaps it's a bit weird if you think about it, but I went to this guy. I said, hi, I'm Joeri. At that moment, I was also nominated for a young entrepreneur in Flanders, where I live. So I was a bit in the press. So some people knew me, but this guy didn't. So he said, yeah, hi, Joeri. And I said, can I ask a question? Aren't you interested in taking over the partnership, I said, with this company? And they said, yes, but that's a really direct question. I said, yeah, it's a direct question. He said, you know what? Let's talk with our CEO. I went talking to the CEO. I said to this guy, if you really want a partnership, why don't you buy, everything? You get the consultants, you get the leads, you get all the trainings, you get, the branding, you get everything. And then you make really a jump start. And then they said, okay, but you need to stay a couple of weeks instead of normally years, because if I would have sold the company as a whole, I needed to stay for years and I wanted freedom. So this is perhaps a longer answer to your question, but it was a kind of a mindset that made me do things that I was not normally going to do if I hadn't had the goal that I wanted, perhaps a really non-logical goal of doing this all in 6 weeks. But yeah, I did it. And that's how I went from selling my company from analytics to having nothing anymore. And I said, okay, now what will I do now? And then, when everything that you take for granted, or you think you are in a relationship, you have children, you have a business, everything was gone. So I needed to have a white, paper, and I needed to really redesign my life, if you want. Yeah. And that was a bit scary at that moment, I must admit. And I needed to find my way. But then I found out that I like creativity. And so I can continue my story if you want, but it's like that I went into the marketing.
And what I see, so thank you for that. It's exactly the path that we all take. It's a story. It starts at a place, and we can start it. It's just like any movie or TV show. They don't start at the beginning of someone being born typically, right? They start somewhere in the story at a particular event that is either preceding what's coming or had just happened or somewhere else in a story that's already happening. So all this is a story that's already happening. And because of the specific changes that you needed to make in your life, it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you were open to many possibilities because of those specific situations that were happening, and you knew they had to happen in a certain way to protect the people that you loved. And when you looked at it that way, where these things have to happen because I want to protect these people, so that means it can't happen in the normal course of a particular time span or situation that'll be longer and more drawn out. I need to be open to opportunities and possibilities in order to get this end goal that I want. Does that make sense?
Exactly. So I just had the goal, but if I would have said, okay, 1 year, no, it was only 6 weeks. So if you know that that's the goal, and I was just looking around for ways to reach the goal, and that's how it happened.
Yeah, and that's something that John Lee Dumas introduced me to. It's Parkinson's law, and it basically says the time it takes to finish a project or do a certain thing is the time that you give for it to be done. So if you say it's going to take me a year, it'll take a year. If you say it's going to take me 6 weeks, it'll take 6 weeks. It's whatever we set as our mindset for this is how long it's going to take. And of course, sometimes things happen where that bumps things out of either sooner or later or whatever. But when we give it that particular time frame, that's when that's what puts our brains in the power to make that happen. So then not only that then it sounds like, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like that opened you up from the analytics side, the logic side of what you were doing in marketing to now, okay, if I can do that, well, now since I can reinvent myself now because it's a clean slate and I can do anything I want, why don't I explore this other side, which is the more creative side? So then what did you do with that?
Yeah, so actually there was a phase in between. So I went from analytics towards, helping entrepreneurs using tools for marketing, but also, to work more effectively, better reach their goals, better the overview of their finances, better know where they were going, a bit more like coaching because I liked it, but it was a bit broader, let's say. And then I started my company from zero again. And actually, I used social media to do that. And then when I was talking to people, because I found out that those people found out that, yeah, I want you to help us with social media. And then and I felt also that it's more my passion. And then, I got a few possibilities to speak on stage, and I changed myself the subject. I said, no, I won't talk about this, about, how to use your email in a more productive way. No, I will talk about social media. I will talk about Facebook marketing. And suddenly, everyone was like listening to me. I had a lot of people reacting to me. And I said, yeah, this is the way to go. And that's, step by step, of course, because I was known for business analytics. And then suddenly you need to reinvent yourself. And so, yeah, that was also kind of an adventure, I would say.
Yeah. And what year was that, would you say?
Well, that was in 2000. So in 2005, 2006, I started my first business, and I sold this in 2013. And at that moment, I needed to, reinvent myself, and it took some time. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. And now, now we're in 2020, 2019, probably. I mean, when did you start with Web3?
Yeah, 1 year ago. So I made a podcast episode about it. Actually, I was last year at Social Media Marketing World. I was already looking at what is this Web3, but not really executing, I would say, just, listening by interest. I was there, and Michael Stelzner said, everyone that's here gets an NFT. And I said, I need to get this NFT. Everything that's new, I like it. So and now I get it. It's an opportunity for me to learn and to try out and to see what happens. And then he said, yeah, we will do a conference about crypto business, about, all of that in October. I said, I need to be there. I met Mark Schaefer in San Diego. It's because I had bought this rally token, and then I was in a community like we both are. And I was in this community. I took some initiatives to organize events in the metaverse. At that moment, not really knowing what will it be. And now we are there, and I've already, comparing to most people, quite some experience with that. So it's actually step by step and by interest and by knowing that I want to do something with Web3. But if I see in 12 months what I have reached, just by talking to people, doing myself podcasts, having guests on my show, talking to people, be with others, take initiatives. I get to. They already asked me to speak on stage about Web3, so it's going fast.
Yeah, well, it's when you show that interest. So what do you think is the biggest boost that you have in your mindset? What is it that triggers your ability to jump from one thing to the next and kind of connect those dots? Because this is all in the broad sense of marketing, right? But this is a very specific connecting the dots to get to an end goal, which is right now Web3. Who knows where it's going to go? Who knows what we're going to do with Web3? And there's many different topics in that, the metaverse and NFTs and crypto or coins and all, and exchanges. I mean, there's so many topics, even just within the Web3, not even talking about marketing and Web3. So what do you think is the biggest drive that allows you to see these or have these mindset shifts so that you can then jump to the next thing that excites you?
Yeah, for me, I like, I was in social media marketing, but, everyone is in social media marketing. I have like this mindset to do things that other people don't do. And sometimes it's really hard. Also, I had an investment club also. I've been in stocks. Some years I won money when all the rest was losing money, and the other way around, it was like, because I'm a bit, I'm doing the opposite as with everyone else. I feel like a bit this in my mindset to be a bit different. And then, this opportunity Web3 came. I followed Mark Schaefer's personal branding class. He was also motivating me to do that. And then I have the mindset when I do something, it's like, okay, what is the worst thing that can happen? And then what will I do if this worst thing happens? And mostly this worst thing never happens. So I'm just saying, okay, I just want to go for it because it's also a bit my gut feeling. I'm not always just, thinking logically or just doing the logical thinking. I think once I was at a training, with a lot of people, and they did like a kind of personality test. Are you like left-brained or right-brained? I think I'm in the middle, so I can switch. So, so when I make decisions, I think it's mostly with my gut feeling, also with my brain, but mostly with my feeling, yeah.
Okay, hold on. If your mindset was shifted, you were inspired to innovate, and you were spurred into action, don't just move on with your day. Focus, my friend, and take a few minutes to visit CEOmischiefmaker.com to learn more about the value that was shared with you today. Please act now and create some CEO mischief of your own.